What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another KEEL infrastructure update video. Hope everybody's having a good start to their week. I did do a little bit of a live stream earlier. It's kind of a shit show, but I had a little bit of fun. If y'all want to check that out, it is a new upload on the channel. Anyway, I wanted to make this video and kind of talk about how the KEEL hype is getting very, very real. When I first started doing the research into KEEL, nobody was talking about it. Nobody was talking about it. You know, you brought it up. People didn't even know what it was. It was a $2 billion market cap. And when people did look into it, they're like, oh, it's just a, crappy Bitcoin miner, blah, blah, blah. Then, nobody was paying it any attention. And then all of a sudden you get this big fund manager, Leopold, take a huge stake into KEEL. People's ears started to perk up a little bit. And it got my ears to perk up as well, and I finally bought in. And still, when I bought in, people really wasn't talking about it much. It was just kind of a small niche community, really around the, Bitcoin mining community, the smaller AI infrastructure community. As the times went on, about 2 weeks have gone by now, and you can slowly start to see KEEL tick up, tick up, tick up. It's starting to blow up on social media. You can type KEEL infrastructure in on Twitter or any social media, and you got so many people posting about it, so many people doing price analysis on it on the charts, so many people doing fundamental analysis on it now, and even people like me making YouTube content on it now. And by the way, I enjoy so much doing these KEEL infrastructure videos. The support I've got from you guys and the KEEL community has just been second to none. Probably one of the best communities I've run into when it comes to stock or crypto investing. Very respectful. Nobody's out of line in the comments. Everybody respects each other. Everybody's in it for the right reasons. And it's just a beautiful thing. I just wanted to make that note. But back to what I was saying about how the KEEL hype is starting to get just insanely real, and it's starting to come to fruition, hopefully. As it started to catch more traction on these social media accounts, now I follow quite a bit of bigger YouTubers that talk about, they're real big into the AI trade, real big into the Neo Cloud trade. 2 of them I watch have already bought into KEEL. 2 of them. And now, almost every live stream they do, they're talking about KEEL infrastructure, right? Yes, they're talking about it in a very risky light. Like, yeah, it's a small play. It's a very risky play. A lot of people did it because they're tailing the fund that bought a bunch of it. But that don't matter, right? The matter of the fact is that they're talking about it. They are talking about KEEL infrastructure when a month ago, nobody even knew who this name was, right? Nobody knew who this name was. And then last week, so I'm just going through a timeline here because it's super interesting. Last week, they come out and do, or KEEL infrastructure, they come out and do a $400 million capital raise. And it made a big stir on social media. I mean, people were pissed. People were just out of pocket, right? Upset. And I understood it. If you've been even if you were a new shareholder, you're like, well, what the hell is going on? I just bought, and now they're diluting the shit out of me, right? And even the old shareholders like, man, we've been in this for so long. We finally see some price action. We finally start to see things moving in the right direction, and then they're just going to dilute us into oblivion, right? People were freaking out. People were really upset about it. And, I can completely understand that. But there was a side of people that were like, look, man, this is a good thing. This could lead to a deal getting done, right? They need this extra capital. And let me go back real quick. So in the past interviews, Ben did say, look, our balance sheet's good. We don't need the extra capital, to fund any of our things right now or in the near future. But here's my thought. If you get in talks with a big enough hyperscaler and a big enough deal, you might just need to raise some capital to fund that deal if it's big enough, right? And that was my thought, and that was my side of the last week when they did that capital raise. A part of me was a little worried, but then another part of me was like, something could be coming. And then yesterday hit, the overnight markets, right? Right before the overnight markets opened up, I was doing some digging, and I seen where Amazon had posted a job listing for a data center manager in Moses Lake. And so as soon as I seen that and KEEL shot up, yes, it went down, but it shot up like 16% in the overnight markets. It did come back down. It had that initial pop. And I was like, oh man, I got to make a video about this. And that, triggered my video I made last night. But my point of this video is, if you just see the chain of events that has happened with KEEL Infrastructure, the thesis is playing out in real time. It's playing out in real time, and it's almost too perfect, right? Because when I first started covering, I built up my thesis saying, if this happens, then this. If this happens, then this. And everything that I've just discussed, how this has played out, a month ago, nobody knew who it was. Eventually, Leopold bought. Then you had YouTubers talking about it. Then social media's blowing up about it. Then they did the capital raise. Then you hear rumblings of an Amazon deal. Like, the thesis is playing out picture perfect. If it is to, come out that the Amazon or any hyperscaler is about to have a lease deal with KEEL, right? And yes, am I a bull? And yes, maybe my thoughts might be distorted in a single direction because I want KEEL to do well. Possibly. It's very possible. But things are just looking good. The KEEL hype is getting real. And I just want to keep emphasizing that, right? And it's funny because last week when they did the capital raise, people were saying, oh, the thesis is broke. I'm selling out. The thesis is gone. Blah, 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 blah. And I know a few people that did sell out. And now, they're going to be feeling kind of crazy if this does come to fruition. Now, if this was all bullshit and it just blows right over and nothing was ever happening with any kind of lease agreements or anything, then I'll feel pretty dumb, right? I will feel, man, I got people hyped up and the shit wasn't even materializing to be anything. But it's like I always say in these videos, nothing's for sure, right? I'm just sharing my thoughts on here of what could potentially happen. And when I find stuff on KEEL or any company that I'm covering, I'm going to come on here and share it with everybody because I want the people that follow me to be informed of what I know, right? I'm not out here trying to hide anything or make secret investments and then bring it to you guys and then dump it. That's not what this channel is about at all. So again, I just wanted to make this video and just discuss the KEEL hype is real, guys. Like, we may have found a winner if we can hold through the volatility, because let me tell you, and I can guarantee you this, the volatility is not going to stop, right? It's not going to stop. We're going to go up 20%, down 25%. We're going to go up 10%, down 5%. Like, it's just going to happen, with small names like this, because one little, even if it's just some negative news, it don't even have to be like bad news, just something really stupid could send this name down 10% because people don't like it. And people are so on the razor's edge already with, KEEL being unprofitable, KEEL being pre-revenue. They're only a $3 billion company. Like, people are just on edge when it comes to investments like this. And, people are just get sketched out very easily. If you're one that holds true conviction in this company and you see these price dips as a opportunity and your thesis stays in check, then we're going to ride it out, right? We're going to ride it out. And it's like I also said, if my thesis does break, if something happens to where the thesis snaps, I'm going to let you guys know. And either, we can make decisions off that in the future. But I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. I get more and more excited. And I sound like a broken record because I love talking about it. And every day that goes on, and I see more people talking about KEEL. I see more people covering KEEL. I see little data points and clues that are leading me into the direction where KEEL is just working silently in the background, and they're going to come out and shock the market. And that's been my whole investment thesis this whole time, is I'm waiting on the re-rate, right? Will I still hold after it re-rates? Yes, if they continue to do what they say and they continue to do the build-outs, 100% I'm going to be a shareholder for the long term. And when I say long term, I hold long term about 5 to 10 years is long term. And if they're still doing well in that time frame, we'll reassess the investment and go from there. Anyway, I'm going to start doing these KEEL updates daily if I can. Maybe, every other day, because there's a lot going on in the markets right now. There's a lot to be talked about. you know, and things are happening very quickly. You know, we just got to stay on top of it. And, you know, we don't want to get caught off guard by some kind of information that, you know, could be detrimental to our thesis. So anyway, guys, that wraps it up. Check it out. The KEEL infrastructure hype is getting real. We got big content creators talking about it. Hopefully one of them days I'll be a big content creator and I will still be talking about KEEL because I love the company. We'll just keep stacking shares and keep building these positions and hoping for the best, man. Hopefully we get some good news this week. Again, I said it in my other videos, KEEL's CEO, Ben, is supposed to be on McNally Money at some time this week. He was supposed to be on last week, but it got pushed out and got rescheduled. And, you know, that triggered some people thinking, well, maybe there's a deal coming. Maybe he pushed it back to be able to announce a deal, you know, this week. So I'm not exactly sure when the interview's coming out, but I'll keep an eye on it and I'll post it on the community tab on the channel when I do find it and find out when he's going to be on. I'm super excited to listen to that interview, to see what Ben's got to say, to see what kind of progress they've made since the last time we've heard from him. And we'll go from there. But hope y'all enjoy the rest of the week. Stay safe out there. Stack them shares. Don't panic sell. And we'll see y'all later.